Hello, John here, your friendly remote CPA, and right now we're going to talk about paying your balance due to the IRS. So, with the remote CPA tax software, as much as we love it, if we schedule electronic payments with the software, unfortunately we can't change them after filing. That might not sound like a big deal if you don't plan to get a new checking account, but what happens if you become victim to fraud throughout the year and the bank assigns you a new checking account number, and then the IRS tries to go and pull funds from a checking account that's closed? It's probably going to fail. They're going to send you a nasty letter. It's just all kinds of a mess. So I really do recommend using the IRS Direct Pay to submit your tax payments to the IRS. There's a few different ways that you can pay the IRS. First is the IRS Direct Pay, which I recommend. Second is EFTPS, the Electronic Funds Tax Payment System. The downside with EFTPS is that you have to complete a registration that comes by US mail. They send you a PIN on paper. But once you get set up, it's a nice system. You have a login, you can go in and see all of your payments. The third option for those who might be trying to get credit card points would be something like pay1040tax.com. It's a authorized payment provider. You can use a credit card, they charge a fee. You can also use a debit card, they charge a fee. I wouldn't use this for a debit card because you might as well just use your routing and account number through the IRS Direct Pay instead of paying that fee. So I'm gonna go ahead and Google IRS Direct Pay. It happens to be the first result that pops up, and I know that because it ends in a .gov domain. So before you click on anything when you Google the IRS, make sure that it ends in a .gov domain. There's a lot of fake websites out there or scammers who might be trying to get you to clickbait into their site and pay their processing fee or just steal your money. So make sure it ends in the .gov domain. I'm going to click into it. The page looks like this. I'm going to direct pay with a bank account. I'm going to say make payment. The reason for payment, you can do balance due, extension, or estimated tax. Those are the most common payments that you'll utilize when working with remote CPA. A note about estimated tax payments. For all of these payments, you have to verify your identity before you can give funds to the IRS. Yes, that's right. They really do make it difficult to pay the IRS. So with estimated tax payments, you usually want to schedule 4 in advance for all 4 quarters, and you verify your identity, and it will usually allow you to submit or schedule 2 or 3 of the payments in the future. And then by the time you get to the 4th payment, for some reason, it either times out or it doesn't like your identity or whatnot. So just add an event to your calendar to come back and schedule that 4th estimated tax payment later. I'm going to start with the balance due reason, but if you were filing an extension or an estimated tax payment, the identity verification process would be the same. And in almost all cases, it's going to be your personal income tax that we're paying here, 1040. Unfortunately, this system doesn't support anything related to withholding tax or corporate income tax. And then I'm going to select the most recent year ended. 2022 was the most recent year that ended right now, but this website has been the exact same for years. So hopefully this video will be good for years to come. So I'm gonna click continue. And you might be thinking, why don't I just drop a check in the mail to the IRS? And yeah, you could do that. Historically, that has always worked, but a few different problems with that. Number one, they want you to write your social security number on the memo of that check. Number two, the payment voucher that you include with your check also has that social security number on it. And we are seeing record number of fraud and theft with the mail system. So if someone were to intercept that envelope with that check, guess what? Somebody just stole a check of yours with your social security number on it, And with this new technology, people are finding ways to wash ink off. And so you just handed someone a blank check, essentially. Compound that with delays in mail, things getting lost. It just seems a lot more secure and predictable to use the online payment system. So I've chosen to make a balance due payment for income tax 1040 2022. I'm going to say that this is correct. And this is where we come into the identity verification. So you are going to need to know a few things about your prior year filing. Most of you will know right off the top of your head. You'll know your filing status. And I'm going to fill this out with my information so that you can see the next screen, but I'm going to pause the video real quick. Okay, so I was able to complete the identity verification. You can see that I'm signed into my account up here. And then I'm just going to put in my payment amount. You have to confirm the payment amount. And this is a nice feature here that works with both the balance due and the estimated tax payments, is you can schedule it in advance. So whenever someone has a balance due, I always recommend paying it as late as possible. Now, for the 2022 tax year, tax day is actually on Tuesday, April 18th. That's because the Monday after April 15th is some kind of federal bank holiday. And this year, April 15th falls on a Saturday. I do recommend paying it as late as possible or as close to the deadline as possible, but I usually advise doing it one business day prior. So in this case, I'm going to choose April 14th. And I recommend one business day prior just because we tend to have a lot of glitchy system issues on the deadline. You know, the system just gets overloaded. So if I were going to proceed with this payment, I would use my routing and account number. I would pull the routing and account number directly from your bank's website. Usually routing numbers are 9 digits and account numbers are 10 digits. There are some different banks who have different format. You could look at the bottom of a check, and there are some banks who abbreviate your account number for internal purposes, but in order to actually use it for an ACH, there are a few extra digits that you have to make sure that are on there. So that's why it's probably best to pull it right from your bank's website. You pick whether it's checking or savings, and then you have to agree to the email confirmation. And absolutely, please put in your email address both times so that you get an email confirmation that this payment went through. And then when you also get to the confirmation of your payment, print that page to PDF or paper, and make sure you save it, because if there's any issue with your payment processing, you want to have that evidence that it was fully submitted. I've seen people get to this screen and forget to hit continue, and they got sidetracked or whatnot. And then you also want to remember the date that you scheduled it so that you can make sure you have funds in the account. So thanks for watching. That's an overview of how to submit payments directly to the IRS.